Buenos dias, comrades. I know it doesn't look like I'm in Quito anymore, but I am. This walk can best be summed up by my favorite saying: if you go looking for adventure, don't be surprised if you find it. What started off as a simple 2-kilometer walk this morning has turned into a massive climb. It's still 2 or 3 kilometers, but what Google Maps did not tell me was that the 2 or 3 kilometers was almost straight up. And Quito, as you know, is quite mountainous. I can't even talk. But I think I've reached the top of this. Unfortunately, I got here, I think, just as the clouds are starting to roll in. I'm not really sure what kind of a view I'm going to get. Apparently, I'm not at the top yet. Google Maps says I still have about 600 meters to go. When Google Maps says I'm there, I have no idea where exactly I'm going to be. We'll find out together. The good news is that right now, I'm walking on level ground. Almost since the time I left my apartment, I've been climbing either up hills or upstairs. I enjoy urban staircases, but at some point, you know, you get tired of them. I checked about 20 minutes ago to see how far up my Apple Fitness app thinks I've climbed, and it says 10 floors. Now, I don't know how many meters a floor is. I'll have to look that up and see what Apple calculates as a floor. It should be interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the highest point that I can reach by walking in Quito. This is one side of the mountain, and I don't know if you can see it, but the clouds have rolled in there. I can see a little bit of the city, but I doubt that you can. But I am going to go to the other side of this hill. Google says it's another 400 meters to wherever it's taking me. Well, I just checked with someone I ran into walking on the park, and apparently there is no observation point on this side of the mountain. So the best one was the one I showed you a minute ago. But this was a nice walk. I don't really know how long it has been since I looked last time. Buenos dias. I'm going to go over to that other place where we saw the cloudy vista and sit down and take a rest and see if I can look up and find out how far or how high. I can't even talk right. Breathing is getting easier, by the way, but that's still a problem. I'm going to try to find out how high Apple Fitness app thinks a floor is. Well, that's the view. There's not much there. Really cloudy. But if the clouds weren't there, you could see the valley, the city itself, and then, of course, mountains on the other side. Well, I just looked it up on how far Apple thinks a floor is, and it's between 3 and 4 meters. But when I checked the fitness app, it still says I climbed 10 floors. That's how many floors I had climbed about halfway up to where I am now. So I'm going to have to check this when I get back. If I find out any more about that, I'll stick it in a little graphic at the end of the video. So how did I start off on today's walk? It was either this. I just saw another park on the map, and I thought, well, I'll just walk to another park and walk around there and just see how my oxygen and breathing work. And it was either that or the bus system. I was going to learn how to use the bus system today. So I decided, park today, bus tomorrow. So I started on my way to the park here, and it was a 2.1 kilometer walk, which so far has been 4.1 kilometers because there was a detour where they weren't allowing pedestrians. But almost as soon as I left my apartment, I was walking up uphill, up steps, you name it, until I got here. It's good weather. It's about 13 degrees right now. I don't need my jacket. It is going to rain later on. Luckily, I brought my umbrella, but I do want to leave before it starts raining. My breathing is getting much better. I think I'm getting back to normal here. The first 3 days, they say give it 3 days. And if you're coming from sea level, give it Quito 3 days before you're actually able to enjoy being outside and active. And that was right, I think, because this is my 4th day now. And my breathing, I would say it's normal. Of course, I was huffing and puffing coming up the hill, but I would be doing that no matter where I was. I did see a couple of cyclists coming up the hill, though. That would be a nice climb on a bike. It's about a 10, I would say 10 to 15%, maybe not 20%, but 10 to 15% would be about it. They have small picnic spots up here. It can actually cook at some of them. There's a barbecue grill there. I don't know how people get up here, though. They don't allow cars on the road that comes up to this point. I'm sure the GoPro is doing a lousy job at this shot because it's going right into the sun. But I'm at another place that looks like it was once a viewpoint or is intended as a viewpoint. The giant Quito sign. I've seen this several times since I've been here. Not just this one, of course, but in other places. La Carolina Park has one. I've got to get started back down or else I know I'm going to get caught in the rain. I did bring my umbrella, but I'd rather not get caught in the rain anyway. I'm standing precariously on the side of a dirt mound, but this is where I was just a little while ago. This is the road that I'm taking down back into town. And when I get to here, which is the main entrance, I'll be back in the city proper. This is where those towers were. This is where the lookout point and where the picnic table was. And according to this, and from what I've read, there's also llamas here. I didn't see any llamas on my walk, though. The good news is that it's all downhill from here. So it should be a pleasant walk back down. I mentioned a little while ago that Quito sits in a volcano or on a volcano, a stratovolcano, or maybe it's pronounced strata, I'm not sure. I looked it up, and to be honest with you, I couldn't tell the difference as far as I'm concerned what a stratovolcano or a regular old volcano is, nor do I care. A volcano is a volcano, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I can tell, and from everything I read, this is not an active volcano. This is what the walk down looks like. As with most cameras, it's almost impossible to determine the grade from these little cameras. I'm walking steeply downhill, but it probably doesn't look that way. And I don't know if you can tell that the hill goes up behind me. But so what? You're just going to have to take my word for it. I think you can see a little bit of the city ahead there. I'm heading down, still heading down. And I'm luckily, or thankfully, I don't have to go up on the other side. I'm going directly down into the valley, and that's where my apartment is. Still about 2 kms from here, though. I was thinking maybe you could get a sense of the grade if I took a picture of some cars going up and down the hill. This is a pretty good view. When I get down to the bottom of this hill there, where those people are walking up and mugging for the camera, that will be the city. And then I continue down from there. From what I've read, Quito is known as a vertical city. And right now I'm coming down and a set of steps urban staircases, one of my favorite public fixtures. They're very steep here, and they're not marked. I mean, there's no colors marking where the steps are, so you really have to pay attention or you're going to be caught off guard. Here's one right here. These will take me back down to the streets, and I'll pretty much be just walking on hills from then on. If I make it. I think my plan to outrun the rain is about to fail, or at least it will in a few minutes. Another motivator for me to get back to my apartment before lunchtime is that I don't know how to say good afternoon. I know that's stupid. I've been buenos diasing my head off all day long, or all morning long, but I'm pretty sure that means good morning. But when it comes to good afternoon, I'll have to look that one up. This is pretty much where I started off this morning. I have another 800 meters to go, according to Google Maps. I know where there are restaurants and grocery stores, but if I run into one before I get back to my apartment, I might just stop in there and grab something to eat. All right, I think that'll do it for today's walk. These walks, by the way, are what I call type 2 fun. And that's fun it's an activity that you remember as fun after you do it. It's not really fun while you're doing it. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Hey folks, remember, if you subscribe to this channel, all of your wildest dreams will come true. I'll show myself out.